Hey guys, it's Caitlin, and today I am going to be teaching you how I edited this photo of Joe Haden from the Pittsburgh Steelers. My dogs really wanted to be in this video, so right? Can you say hi? Sit. Shake. Shake. Good boy. Yeah. Okay. All right, let's get into the editing. Okay, so here's the original photo right out of my camera, the raw file, and I'm just going to show you the layers that I added in the final product. So this is the before and this is the after. So I'm going to separate all these layers so we can go through them step by step. And the first thing that I started out with was I duplicated this background image. So there's two ways that you can do it. On a Mac, you can do Command J, or you can drag the layer to the new layer icon and it will duplicate the layer for you. So after that, I went up to filter and I did camera raw filter. And first thing I always do, increase the clarity, decrease the blacks. And then from here on out, I decrease the highlights a little bit. I think I warmed it up. I messed around with my highlights and my shadows a little bit. I really want the gold and the black to be the prominent colors in this photo. So I then went to saturation over here, increased the yellows a little bit, and then decreased the saturation of all the green and the aquas and a little bit of the blue. You can kind of tell the difference in the blues here, and I actually like a little of the blue. Oh my gravy, I cannot speak. I actually like a little bit of the blue, so I'm not going to decrease it all the way, but just desaturate it a little bit. And that is about all I did. So then I just hit OK, and already you can tell a big difference from the raw and that camera raw filter layer that we added. So that was my first step, and then I went down here and I clicked color lookup, and you can see the little difference here. The color lookup that I used over here was this one. You can see it on the right side, and then notice I put the blend mode on soft light and I decreased the opacity to 17%. I then duplicated this layer, and instead of the blend mode being soft light, I switched it to normal and decreased the opacity to 28%. So here's a little before and after on that. All right, the next step I did was I added a solid color layer. So I went down here, hit solid color, and chose black. And this adds a beautiful contrast to the photo. So you'll also, let me go back to this layer, sorry. So you'll notice that it's on soft light, and that's how you get the contrast look. If it was on normal, it would look like this. And remember, the opacity is at 39%, so if it was at 100%, it would look like that. We'll put that back, and we'll put this back on soft light. You'll also notice that I added a mask, and I added a mask because if I take away this, his face becomes really dark and I want him to stand out more, so I just erased what I didn't want. And to add a layer mask, all you have to do is go down here and click this, and then use your paintbrush, B shortcut. Make sure your mask is selected, not your layer. Make sure your mask is selected, and when you see black, that means it's going to erase whatever you have, and white is put back. So now I'm putting back the layer and making his face dark again, which I don't want. All right, the next step I did was I added a new layer, clicking right here, and I kind of just painted with the paintbrush tool, made my color black, just dragged my paintbrush tool just like that. Again, make sure your blend mode is soft light. And then again, I just decreased the opacity to about 28%. It's all about the subtlety, so that's why I'm decreasing the opacity on so many of these. All right, then I added another color layer, or another color lookup, and I chose Edgy Amber for this one. I put it on soft light again, and I added a layer mask because same thing on his face. Like, it's not like that much of a difference, but it's a difference to me. So I wanted his face to have a little bit more natural look. So I added another mask and just kind of erased the part of his face. I didn't want that color lookup to touch. The next step I added was a curves layer. To do that, same thing, go down here and hit curves. I will show that so you can see what that looks like. I just brightened it up a little bit, and you can see my adjustments here on the right side. So all I did was drag these points up. Then the final layer that I added was the exposure layer. This adds like kind of a matte look to all the photos, and this is like my signature style. I have this matte look on every single one of my photos, so you can tell, or you can see the changes that I did to that over here on this layer. And then if we group all of my adjustments together, this is the before, the raw file right out of the camera, and then these are my Photoshop layer adjustments. So that's a little behind the scenes look at how I edited this photo of Joe Haden from the Pittsburgh Steelers.